Timestamp July 29th, 2025. I don't know why I have to concentrate on that so bad. Like, oh no, what year is it? About 12:20. Moments like that, I'm like, oh my god, the dementia thing is happening to me too. I think part of it's just I can't believe we're in 2025. I'm still writing 2024 on all my checks. Just kidding, I don't do checks. Whoa, it is steamy out. When you guys say 95, you ain't kidding. And on the lanai, because how it's basically a metal cave. When I start to brown, flip me. Alright, so the septic guys just left. Despite the shenanigans, there was no discount, not even an apology from their foreman. Man, I'm behaving. Because again, I'm very much not a Karen, but it's like, yeah, you need to get the electrician out. Oh, I know, I'm working on that right now. I actually talked to them again this morning. It's like, I didn't realize that I could have gotten that going a week ago. Because nobody in your company told me. Oh, yeah, you can do that. I'm even handing you invitations where you could go, oh yeah, sorry about that. No, nothing even close. But even though I was in the back of my mind going Michael Myers on the guy, you understand. Being nice. Because the septic is done. Minus the electric for the lift station. It's basically a pump. Because the way things are laid out, my understanding, you get done what you need. I don't see a bunny either, buddy. The septic is attempting to go uphill, basically, to where the pipes are. Which, that's tricky. So they actually had to put in a lift station, which basically is a pump that moves the septic away from the house proper. That's the gist of it. We're going back in, pal. Alright, I'll see you inside, buddy. It's just too dang hot out here. The weather, because I have... Come on. Yeah, come on. I have, and not because I'm old, but because I have to keep an eye on the weather because of doing outdoor projects and stuff like that. I have the Weather Channel website up on my computer most of the time. An open window, not necessarily on the screen. God, it's hot out there. And I know Tiny took you out like 2 hours ago, Weiner, so just a little cookie, because you already, you're trying to double dip the system. I know how this is. I'm going to go out every 30 minutes, because that's a lot of cookies. I'm on to you. But, yeah, it even has the, heat advisory. what do they call it? Extreme heat warning. 95, yeah. 95 degrees here in Pasco County. But it's a dry heat. Very warm. Set the pot going before I went outside. Having some Harry and David breakfast blend. It's kind of the house coffee for the most part. I have a lot of it stacked up. And it's just a really good basic coffee. I know I said this before, I really like, just as like a staple, I like breakfast blends and typically like your donut shop blends. That's just like the staple. Yummy. Okay. So, got to get the electrician out here today. They keep wanting to send him out for an estimate, and I already know basically what it's going to cost because Troy at the septic company kind of recover for a moment. He already gave me an indication. The septic job itself was about $11K. That's, painful. But again, the stuff that my parents were getting in trouble for because they paid for it. I didn't pay for it. Do I have extra money at the moment? Well, yeah, I've been saving up for a year to make sure that I'd be able to get through these first however many months until we get garage sales going. Pardon. And I'd still be able to get a couple of toys. I promised myself I would be able to do that for myself, and I even promised my mom. I've told you about that conversation. But, the fact that I was able to do that, and bear in mind, my parents' money is not like bottomless. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank account to work with. I don't. I have to be a little careful here and there. But this is one of the things that DCF was like, okay, if your septic's backing up twice a year, that's obviously a problem. You need to get that checked out and fixed. Because that's a health issue. Because it affects the fact that you can't flush toilets, you can't bathe. These are all hygiene type things. It's on the list of get this done. And part of where my mom was running into legal troubles there was, they're looking at her accounts and whatnot because it's the state of Florida. They can peer behind and see what's behind the curtain. They're like, you've got the money to do it. Even if this is a $10,000 or $20,000 job, you can write that check. And it's a health issue. So we're telling you, write that check. It's not going to hurt you financially. Write that check. And she's saying, I'm making calls, I'm inquiring about it, and 3 months later they're like, okay, it does not take 3 months to decide on a company or to decide whether or not you want to do something that we're telling you you're going to do. If you need to apply for financial aid, they even asked that at one point. It's like Pasco County Senior Services was like, do you need to apply for financial aid? And my mom got very indignant. It was like, I don't need financial help. Which, from a negotiation standpoint, that was a trap, because that just means the response is, then do it. I don't need your help. Well, then you do it. Not an ask, a tell. So, but that part of it's done. I now have some grass in the front yard and a whole bunch of orange clay dirt looking things where everything got buried. This second, I'm not even worrying about like resodding or anything like that. Plus, based on where we are, it may start sprouting up God knows what. I don't even, the second, I don't care, Get the electrician out here. I was told by Troy at the septic company that the most he's ever seen that cost has been $1,000, and that's when they had to run a huge amount of line, like where the lift station was regarding in opposition to where the power was. was, hundreds of feet. They had to run huge amounts of cable to get it to work. He's like, you're not anywhere near that category. It's like, that's the most I've ever seen it cost, and that was an extreme situation. It's like, it's going to be a few hundred. If I were to take a guess, I'd say like probably 500, maybe 300. But, because I asked him, I'm like, okay, what's worst case? And he's like, the worst I've ever seen was the $1,000 example that I gave you. So, I don't need the dude to come out here and give me an estimate. I need the dude to come out here and do it, because it could have been done a week ago, but no one told me. That's part of what pisses me off a little bit. It's like, I was talking to Fun Size earlier today, and she's like, you seem a little frustrated. I'm like, well, she's like, you're handling it well, because there's a lot going on, and you're handling it really well, but I can tell you're frustrated. It's like, well, yeah, because there have been a lot of times that I want to take 2 steps forward, but I can only take 1 step forward because I have to wait for somebody else to do what they need to do. You know what I mean? I need to wait for someone at the bank to sign off on something so that I can do what I know that I'm supposed to do and I should be legally able to do. But I gotta wait for someone else's permission to do it. It's like a fair amount of hurry up and wait. It's like, I'm trying to get this stuff done, but you guys keep slow walking this. So, yeah, we got a gasoline smell from the garage. Tiny didn't notice it. I went out there this morning. I'm like, ooh, that's gasoline. Moving stuff around in the alcove, like we pulled out those coolers and whatnot. I think Tiny knocked over a container of gasoline because my dad has all kinds of chemicals and stuff stored down that alcove too. I think she accidentally knocked over a thing of gasoline. She gets that from her mom. The knocking things over without realizing you've knocked things over, it's part of mom's gene pool. I love pics, but if she were on camera, she'd say, yeah, that's me. You got that from me. So, we got a bottle or a jar or something of gasoline in the alcove that has tipped over. It's not strong, but you can smell it through the side door. And it's definitely gasoline. So, not even sure what that was. Looking through I got a lot of mixed Star Wars figures the other day. I paid like $100, but it had like 120 figures in it. I'm gonna saying I like the Imperials and stuff the other day. I'm keeping the clones, the Imperial officers, the Stormtroopers, Biker Scouts, stuff like that. And this was one of the ones in there. I gave him the katana. He didn't come with that. That's, I think, there's some blue plastic peeking out from behind the paint. This is somebody had custom painted something. But the fact that it's a blue plastic, and if Mickey ever sees this, he could probably tell me just by looking at that what it is. I'm pretty sure it's a Leonardo katana, because with the TMNT toys, most of the accoutrement for the figures matches the color of the figure. All of Donatello's gear usually is purple. It's molded from a purple plastic. And most of Leonardo's stuff is molded from a blue plastic. And a lot of times people, when they're doing mods and stuff like that, Turtles gear can be great for that. They'll get a whole bunch of Leonardo stuff and then paint it in a more realistic, non-blue plastic look. But yeah, no, this figure I think is awesome. I love the look of him. And I looked him up online to try and figure out exactly what he is. Because he's got the best of all worlds. He kind of has a Stormtrooper look, kind of has a Biker Scout look. Almost a little bit of a clone influence. Apparently he's a AT-ACT driver, which is the kind of construction freight oriented AT-AT as seen in Rogue One, and I think only in Rogue One. And from what I can tell, because a lot of times we were talking about the like exclusive ships, you can only get it with this pack. A lot of times with Star Wars, with the ships, there will be like a pilot figure, and you can only get the pilot figure if you buy the vehicle. And I think he was only available in the AT-ACT thing, which was probably $100 toy, because, you know, AT-ATs, it looks really similar to an AT-AT, like from Hoth, the big Imperial walkers. As toys go, they're huge, and they're big. But I think, because he's the driver, I think you could only get him if you purchased the vehicle, which sadly makes him probably really, I haven't seen, I did a look on eBay, and they did do one of these guys in the 6-inch black series. There were 100 listings for that, but the 3 3/4, not a single listing, which is odd. So I have a feeling he's probably hard to get a hold of figure, which makes me sad, because I love the look of him. It's just fabulous. But again, I'm that dork. But yeah, the lot that I got, there were like 110 figures. Probably half of them were Stormtroopers, clones. There were a few TIE Fighter pilots, a couple of biker scouts, a couple of Imperial officers here and there. And then there were other figures. And I'm kind of doing army building of sorts, just because that, from a diorama standpoint, it's fun to do that. I did keep, there was a really good Mace Windu, and I actually wanted a good Mace Windu. I didn't have one. There was a good Mace Windu in the lot that I'm keeping. But there were like 4 of the same Alec Guinness Obi-Wan figure, mostly 90s and old and more recent, not any of the like 70s early Kenner stuff. But I'm going to be breaking that out. That's some of the lots that I'm going to be putting on eBay. I've already separated them into baggies of these 3 figures, these 2 figures, these 4 figures. I tried to put them in groups that made sense. You know, like these are all Jedis. These are, you know, all Cantina creatures or whatnot. And I do keep some of the creatures and monsters and whatnot, some of the non-humanoid looking things, because they're just fun to put in dioramas. In general, they are. It's one of the reasons they're hard to get now, because they don't really carry them as much. I love the working at Dollar Tree. For several years, they had they're like an exclusive line of science fiction toys called Final Faction, and I think it was kind of like, you know, there's one side of the line that's like G.I. Joe-esque figures, you know, Earth soldier kind of figures, and then the other side, the Karn, also almost has a pirate sound on it, which are the creatures. The creatures are fabulous. They really remind me of like old school Kenner figures, like old school Star Wars figures. But like that's the Karn drone, and it's just got a really, seriously, it's even got like the, you know, the like leg post thing that like the old Kenner figures had. Just a really good looking figure, and there's like 10 different, completely different creatures that they did in the series, and I've got an entire like big tote full of them, because I've been grabbing them for the past like 6-8 years. They didn't, it looks like they didn't re-up with the company that makes them, which I think is dumb, because I stocked in toys quite a bit. We sold them. You know what I mean? It seems like it would be worthwhile to continue doing them. And a little personal bias too, just because I would keep buying them. There's a couple of critters that I need to get more of. I don't need to get more, but I need to get more. You don't understand. I need to get more of these. Um, but I don't think I have one over here. There's one that's a crawler and it looks like a little crab looking thing. I need another 100 of those or so. Um, I don't need 100. I just want them. And they come in a 2-pack because they're small, but they're so cute. But yeah, no, the creatures in it are just fabulous. And because one of the things that I like doing is scratch build, and I will be able to do that again in the near future, I think, maybe. I like doing diorama scratch builds. Because they're like a house brand, they're not associated with a movie or a TV show, whatnot. I can do whatever I want with it. You know what I mean? You're not going to look at it and go, those are from Star Wars, or those are from Alien, those are Xenomorphs, you know. Excuse me, sir, what? They're whatever I make of them, which would make Doc Brown happy as well. I can mod them, repaint them. They did 2 series. They did a regular, the original release, and then they did a Venom release, I think it was called, where they're like black with green, like almost a fluorescent slime kind of look going on. They're both cool. Both versions are cool. And there are variations over the past years or whatnot where they did different things with paint, but they're all pretty much the same conceptually. You know, these are kind of a weird purplish gray with like a metallic blue detailing. And sometimes they went heavier on, you know, the blue, or they went darker with the purple, or, you know, the variations. Because not every batch is going to necessarily look exactly the same. But, yeah, I love them. I got a couple on my desk. Yeah, because, you know, I do that. I have toys on my desk. Oh yes, I have toys on my desk. Including poor Worthington. I think I told you about him. My poor Haunted Mansion butler that got left behind for 2 years. And I went ahead and let him, he's hanging out with Ezekiel, I think is his name. He's the caretaker, the cemetery caretaker. So he and Worthington are hanging out now on my desk. Seems appropriate. I found him going through stuff, and I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, you got a buddy now. He looked so lonely. And Pix has got Isabella, so, what's the guy to do? Got to hang out with her, you know. Hang out with your buddy, man. But yeah, I'm waiting for the electrician to get back with me. We're going to try and do some stuff on the lanai today, Tiny and I, and I'm going to be sorting some more paperwork, and I think I'm going to be isolating a spilled canister of gasoline. I think that would be a smart thing to do. I've heard that gasoline fumes are a horrible idea. Health check, I feel pretty good. A little amped up, but that's mostly just because of the who and the what that I've been dealing with already, you know. But had a great talk with Fun Size this morning. That was nice. Just a good friend, and I love her dearly. So that was cool. It was very cool. She seems to be doing okay. She also got diagnosed not too long ago too, so we're both facing the same terror of, oh my god, a terminal disease, you know. Nothing big. Sorry. But we're kind of keeping tabs on each other, trying to support each other where we can. She's gonna go swim with the spiders. Long story, it's her story to tell. Anywho, I'm gonna take my pills here in a minute too. I need to do that. I'm trying to do that around noon every day to make sure that I know I'm on a schedule with it, you know, my vitamins. But yeah, I'll check in probably later with an update, and hopefully I can get that electrician out here. It's coming up on 1 o'clock. I don't know that I'm going to get him out here today. The foreman from the septic company said that it looked like I probably still had a few days on what was there before it became imperative that I get it, electrified. So that's good. And also, can we get this done already? Anyway. Make it a great day.